Right. Good morning, everybody, and welcome. If we could stand for the pledge, please. Hats off. Yeah, hats off, even witches' hats. Supervisor Toffenelli, would you lead us, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, will you report out from our closed session?
Yes, for today's closed session, item 1, pursuant to Government Code 54956.9D1, conference with legal counsel, re-existing litigation, California Sport Fishing Protection Alliance versus Eastern San Joaquin Groundwater Subbasin Sustainability Plan et al., Stanislaus County Superior Court Case number CB 20001720, board action, no reportable action taken. Item 2, pursuant to Government Code 54956.D1, conference with legal counsel, re-existing litigation, Wade versus County Workers' Compensation Appeals Board case number ADJ 161-00778. Board action, no reportable action taken.
Thank you. We'll move on to staff announcements. Ms. Medina. Awesome. That door's kind of sticking all of a sudden.
Today we have Whopper and Shauna and Summer. Summer's our new animal service officer. So Whopper is a male Alaskan Husky. He's about 1 year old. He is neutered. Whopper and his brother named Moon, who is also available for adoption, and brothers were running loose in a muck and unconfined in our local neighborhood for months. Animal Services worked with the owners while Focus generously donated some expenditures to spay all the animals. So all the animals in this pack were neutered and spayed. However, the pups were still unconfined, and that's how we got Moon and Whopper. But due to the loving care of our staff and volunteers, they have gone from scared and scrappy pups that would grow and retreat to well-socialized dogs who walk nicely on a leash, and they know how to sit. They know how to sit and wait. They are both truly affectionate, as you can see, with people and our volunteer favorites. They get along with other dogs and have had very successful play dates with other animals, with other pups. We're not too sure about their tendency towards kitties yet, right? Yeah. The dogs cannot be adopted together, only because we want to avoid that littermate syndrome. And as always, if you're interested, come see us. And if you have another pup, a meet and greet is required. So the holiday season is upon us, obviously, with all these wonderful decorations. And we will be holding our first holiday event on Saturday, November 15th at our shelter called Petsgiving. It's going to be from 10 to 2 here at the Government Center. This will be an adoption event as well. And we will also be kicking off our toy and our food drive for our foster and our community animals throughout the end of the year. So some of the items we are very thankful for and hopefully we'll be looking at receiving are canned dry and dog, cat, and kitten food such as Friskies, milk replacement for neonatal kittens. We get those kittens in that have to go to foster and they have to be fed every 2 hours. So we do need some additional milk replacement. Cat litter, puppy pads, collars, indestructible dog toys, and cat toys. We also have an Amazon web list and wish list on our website if you would like to go take a look. Other than that, I'd like to thank Summer, Shauna, and Whopper. Do you have any questions?
Any questions from the board? Seeing none.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. This needs W.
Thank you, Shauna. Thank you, Whopper. Are there any other staff announcements? We'll move on now to item number 3, Madam Clerk.
Item 3, proclamation, District Attorney, adopt a proclamation recognizing October 2025 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month.
And I'll hand the gavel over to Supervisor Toffenelli.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
We're gonna do this proclamations, both of these, a little bit different than normal. I'm gonna read the first two lines of it. And then each board member is gonna read a different line because it's what they are, domestic violence and breast cancer. I think we all want to be involved in it. So, I will start with, this is a proclamation declaring October 2025 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Whereas domestic violence is estimated to affect 10 million people in the United States every year. And whereas domestic violence affects men, women, and children of every age, race, ethnicity, religion, and economic status. And now I will pass it off to Autumn.
Whereas Congress declared the month of October to be Domestic Violence Awareness Month in 1989, and every October, organizations and individuals unite across the country for a national effort to uplift the needs, voices, and experiences of survivors of domestic violence.
And whereas the theme for Domestic Violence Awareness Month in 2025 is with survivors always, emphasizing the importance of standing in solidarity with survivors of domestic violence. And
whereas local law enforcement officers often respond to repeated calls regarding the same domestic violence victim, but consistently offer intervention, assistance, and hope that the victim will become a survivor. And
whereas local service providers in Calaveras County, such as the Resource Connection, Calaveras Crisis Center, District Attorney's Office, Victim Services, and the Health and Human Services Agency provide support, programs, and services to survivors of domestic violence and their children and pets, with the goal of helping them heal and develop healthier relationships free of abuse. And
whereas the Calaveras County Board of Supervisors reaffirms its dedication to fostering a stronger community that strives to eliminate domestic violence and recognizes the advocates, victim service providers, and organizations who work tirelessly to prevent domestic violence and extend hope and healing to survivors of domestic violence. Barbara, anyone wishes to talk?
Good morning, Brad Jones. I'm the Assistant District Attorney, and I wanted to thank the board for taking the time to recognize such an important issue. It's important, not just 1 month of the year, but obviously every day of every month, and especially since it affects every community and every demographic in this county and across the nation. And taking the time to recognize those survivors and the courage it takes to withstand and prevent and maintain hope, as well as the providers that, especially with this month's theme of with survivors always, recognizing that it's not just a temporary solution, that it's an everlasting fight. Sheriff Rochelle Whiting is here as well. The Resource Connection, Calaveras Crisis Center, it does so much good work too. The law enforcement officers on the street. And unfortunately, we see that it's affecting, in the district attorney's office, I see it affecting younger and younger populations, as well as the elderly. And it's just sometimes we gain, we become, I don't know if it's scarred or jaded, but I see it every day. And so for the community to take the time to recognize it, and it covers so much more than just what we traditionally think of as domestic violence in terms of intimate partner violence. It can be sexual assault within the relationship, and stalking. We've seen a big increase in stalking cases as well. And the barriers that, let me give one example. We just had the animal services presentation. Sometimes somebody wants to go to a safer place, but they don't know how to bring their animals. And we've seen the Resource Connection making great strides in trying to accommodating those animals, and community groups providing services such as maybe they can take an animal, but it has to be vaccinated. So having Good Samaritans or community groups help vaccinate those animals so they can be brought to safety as well. And I don't know if the sheriff had anything to add.
Yeah, I just want to say it's extremely unfortunate than on the majority of our end of watch reports after every shift, how many domestic violence calls that we handle in our community. So I just want to remind everyone of the great partnership that we have both with the district attorney's office for prosecution, their victim witness services, and especially the resource connection crisis center. Since Robin's not here, I really want to advocate on their behalf and just remind everyone in our community. If you are in a situation where you're being threatened with, or if you're suffering from physical, emotional, financial abuse in a domestic violence situation, we have great resources in our community. We're here for you, and call us if you need us, because we're always here.
Thank you, and thank you for taking the time.
Thank you. Thank you. Ben, you have something to say?
Public comment.
Yeah. Is there any public comment on this item? Do we have any online?
We have no online public comment.
Okay, I'll bring it back to the board. Supervisor Stopper.
Yeah, I think that everyone here has someone in their life or someone that's near them that is touched in one way by abuse and you know, it's very sad. I read the sheriff's log consistently just to stay up on what's going on in my district, and it like Sheriff Whiting said, it's amazing how many domestic violence calls and time that's put into it. So, you know, keep everyone in your heart and please reach out to someone if they need help, because sometimes they don't always have the path towards getting help. So it takes not only a village, but the whole community. So with that, I'll make a motion.
So is there any other board comments? If not, I have a motion by Supervisor Stopper,
I'll second.
second by Supervisor Hubbard. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the Calaveras County Board of Supervisors that the month of October 2025 is Domestic Violence Awareness Month in Calaveras County.
We'll move on to our next proclamation, item number 4.
Item 4, proclamation, Public Health Services proclaim October 2025 as Breast Cancer Awareness Month in Calaveras County.
And I'll pass the gavel over to Supervisor Follendorf.
Whereas Breast Cancer Awareness Month was established in October 1985 to educate women about breast cancer and pay tribute to those who have been affected by the disease. And whereas breast cancer is the most common cancer diagnosed among women in the United States and the second leading cause of death from cancer among women.
And whereas about 1 in 8 women born today in the United States will develop breast cancer at some point in their lifetime, and
Whereas early detection and treatment of breast cancer allows most women to live long and healthy lives. And
Whereas public awareness and early detection can increase the number of women who survive breast cancer.
And whereas increasing public awareness and the value of mammograms in early detection and treatment of breast cancer can save lives. And
Whereas all women are encouraged to talk to their healthcare provider about breast cancer to understand their level of risk and to discuss when to start screening. And with that, I will open up to public comment.
Good morning, Carrie Biker, Business Administrator for Public Health. Keep my, what I want to say brief. Breast cancer awareness is so important in our community and nationally. So many of us in this community have been affected by breast cancer at some point in our lives or will be in the future. What I will say is that early detection is key. So if you can emphasize to anyone in your family to get those mammograms and get detected as early as possible. And also remind you that breast cancer not only affects women, it also affects some men. So it's really important that we keep that in mind. And again, early detection is key.
Any other?
Good morning, members of the board. My name is CJ Singh. I'm here representing Dignity Health Mark Twain Medical Center. You're one and only hospital in the county. I'm here to share that we have the technology and resources for all the early detection that you guys just talked about and shared and just mentioned. So just let your healthcare provider know. And I know a lot of the times there's a lot of reluctancies to visit a rural medical center, but we're here to tell you that we have all the technology that any big hospital anywhere in the nation has here in our backyard. So if you know somebody or know of somebody, please do let them know Mark Twain Medical Center has the resources. Just this past weekend, we hosted our Pink Tie Gala. We raised $30,000 for infusion chairs for our cancer center. So our community supports us and our patients are there for us too. So if you know anybody, please let them know that we are there for them as well. Thank you.
Any other public comment? Are there any online?
We have no online public comment.
Bring it back. Is there any board comment? Is there a motion?
I'd like to move.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing that it passes 5-0. Therefore, be it resolved, the Calaveras County Board of Supervisors proclaims October as Breast Cancer Awareness Month in Calaveras County. Guys want to come up?
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Thank you.
We'll move on to public comment. Madam Clerk.
Yes. Any item of interest to the public that is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board and is not posted on the consent or regular agendas may be addressed during the public comment period. California law prohibits the board from taking action on any matter which is not posted on the agenda unless it is determined to be an emergency by the Board of Supervisors. If public comment is completed before the 30-minute allotted time period, the board may immediately move to the next order of business. If public comment is not completed during the allotted time period, it will be continued as the last item of business in order to provide an opportunity for the remainder of comments to be heard.
Thank you. Terry. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Terry McBride, New California State Committee Chair and Senator, as well as the President pro tempore of our Senate. We are excited to announce our last election before we become the actual state. We've had 4 of them. This one will be at the Senior Center next Tuesday, 3 o'clock until 7 o'clock. So after everybody goes and votes, I hope in person for Prop 50 against it, I hope. Please come and vote. And we did a press release. I'm going to read that. And so New California State to conduct limited principal vote. As the 13th New California State Constitution, at the 13th New California State Constitutional Convention on July 1st, 2025 in Visalia, California, the delegates and legislature overwhelmingly passed in principle the new California State Constitution. I hope everybody's taking a chance to go look at it. It's something you can be proud of. The passage of the new California State Constitution was the culmination of a process that began at the first Constitutional Convention on July 21, 2018 at the Harris Ranch, California. Now, after 8 years and 13 constitutional conventions later, we have a constitution for a new California state. On July 12, 2025, New California State conducted a principled vote in 26 precincts. We were one of them. And the voters who participated overwhelmingly supported the new California State Constitution. On August 2nd, 2025, California voters went to 40 precincts representing 58 counties from all over the state in which they cast their votes. On October 4th, 2025, New Californians cast their votes in 55 precincts. There's a great interest. The first, second, and third elections have passed, and there will be a fourth election on November 4. If you voted in the past 3 elections, you are very much encouraged to vote in the fourth. This is all historical, everyone. Be a part of history. New California will be able to express their opinion on California State's redistricting Proposition 50 by voting on the New California State November 4, 2025 ballot. The New California State votes regarding California's Prop 50 will have no effect on the state of California's November 4, 2025 special election. So we are the only, Article 4, we follow that. Article 4, Section 4 of the United States Constitution. The United States shall guarantee to every state in the Union a Republican form of government and shall protect each of them against invasion. And on application of the legislature or the executive, when the legislature cannot be convened against domestic violence. Please come. I'm telling you, we have
you, Terry.
cookies and coffee. You'll love it. Thank you
you.
very much.
Mr. Butner, morning.
My name is Christopher Budner, publisher of Calaveras 2026election.com. On Tuesday, September 23rd, 2025, during the regular meeting of the Calaveras County Board of Supervisors, I observed what appeared to be a concerted pressure effort on District 2 Supervisor Autumn Andal being perpetrated by 3 other district supervisors, Stopper, Tofinelli, and Follendorf. Last evening, I sent each of you an email containing a link to a 23-second video clip from that board meeting. The source of that video is the Calaveras County Clerk's YouTube channel. The video clip contains compelling verbal and nonverbal evidence supporting my observation of the substantive appearance of calculated and concerted pressure having been exerted on District 2 Supervisor Andal by 3 district supervisors. Supervisor Andal, you appeared extremely conflicted and hesitant in the 23-second video clip, visibly discomforted by Supervisors Tofinelli's brinkmanship as to which of the 2 of you would be seconding Supervisor Follendorf's motion for a vote to provide $350,000 in transient occupancy tax funding to the Calaveras Visitors Bureau for the current fiscal year. Whether you were pressured by your colleagues in an organized manner for you to second Supervisor Follendorf's motion, or whether you were pressured by Supervisor Tofinelli's nonverbal posturing, stare down, and deliberate hand gesture toward you, or whether you were merely being over-deferential to Supervisor Tofinelli remains to be revealed. What I observed on the 23-second video clip was Supervisor Stopper, Tofinelli, Follendorf collectively directing their synchronized gaze at you, anticipating you seconding Supervisor Follendorf's motion without delay. You, however, did delay, and your hesitation was followed by several seconds of you and Supervisor Tofinelli engaging in what appeared to be brinkmanship, a sequence of nonverbal exchanges consisting of eye contact and hand gestures that were skillfully orchestrated by the well-practiced Supervisor Tofinelli, seemingly designed to pressure you on the spot during a public meeting into seconding Supervisor Follendorf's motion. Were you pressured, Supervisor Andal, by your fellow board members to vote against your conscience and against the best interest of your constituents, or have I entirely misread the situation and the numerous verbal and nonverbal cues, and instead you've actually willingly thrown in with this lot of corrupt county scofflaws? Supervisor Andal, did you succumb to what appeared to be calculated and concerted pressure from your colleagues? I invite your response during supervisor announcements at the conclusion of this meeting. Should you opt to make no statement addressing these concerns, it will appear you've been compromised by your associates and have fallen short of your commitment to be the change agent for accountability and transparency in this government. My name is Christopher Butner, publisher of Calaveras 2026election.com.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment? Mr. Hildreth.
Good morning. Number one, I love your hats. And I think Benjamin has a future as Slim Pickens.
Thank you, Mark.
I heard that you have to wear it, so I did hear that. This is more of an educational. I went to the Caltrans meeting a couple weeks ago. And going over the maps, something that I discovered that I wanted to share with you as information only is that Caltrans on their maps shows that they want to remove valuable parking within the downtown. That parking consists of 9 spaces. It starts at Main and it goes all the way to the Sierra Inn. I have had numerous discussions with Caltrans, including the senator's office, Senator Gills. And again, it's more educational that if they were to remove that project, I think it would have a devastation to the downtown that so many people have come together and make the community vibrant. So again, educational only. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Lauren Milmore, and I just wanted to make you guys just kind of a little bit aware of the situation that's kind of going on with our business in town. I am currently one of the owners of Cheer Icon Athletics. My family owns about 3 to 4 businesses in Valley Springs already. My dad, Brian Chavzatro, owns law offices. My brother owns Sacred Skin. I own Salon Rouge. I also own a cheer company, or I'm sorry, a photography company. I also do CJR. I'm the cheer coordinator. I put on, with the help of Gary, the Polar Express in Valley Springs and Gold Creek. I sit on the board of the HOA in Gold Creek, so I like to be really involved in our community. So me and my colleagues, when we saw the cheer community was kind of struggling, we decided to open a cheer gym to give all of the youth in our community a little bit of a higher step to get where they need to be as far as college-wise, because high school cheer doesn't quite get you there. They scout you through All-Star Cheer and NA Cheer. We have then searched and searched and searched for a building. We were only able to find one here in San Andreas. Since then, we have outgrown our building and it is too small. It's almost become dangerous because we're not able to give the adequate spacing. So we have now searched for other buildings and we have found several. None of them are zoned appropriately for us. Not one. All of the zones are just for auto shops or power plants or M2, M4. Nothing is commercial. So what we have talked to the planning department and building, and they're willing to compromise with us and bring a motion to you guys. But it is extremely expensive. And I have heard, and I just wanted to put it on your radar. I know you're not allowed to vote now about waiving the fees for that. I just would want you guys to consider something like that if you ever see it come across your desk, if we get that far. Or if there's anything you do, because I know that takes up to a year to change the zoning. And hopefully, I'm not sure if it can go quicker, if that's something that you guys can help do. But our building is just entirely too small, and I'd love to move closer to the community that the rest of all of our kids come from. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. Melissa DeLong. I am one of Lauren's business partners at Cheer Icon Athletics. I wanted to just come and be a second voice for the children that our facility serves. Since opening our doors in June of 2024, we've had over 330 youth come through, taking tumbling classes, participating in training, conditioning. We have 57 active athletes who are preparing right now for their first competition of the season in a few weeks. The last thing any of us want to do is let down those children and those families. It gives those girls a place to come together. They learn community, they learn team building, they learn teamwork, they learn problem solving in a way that's much bigger than any tumbling or stunting they can do on a mat or dance moves, right? This is something that serves a greater purpose. And so we're really hoping for any accommodations or any consideration that can be made for those kids. Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa.
Okay. Hi, I'm Perry Willard. I do own a facility next to the bus barn out there that's a 4,000 square foot shop. It's zone M2. It's been it's common practice has been like automotive shop, and Cal Waste was out there for a while, various things. The shop has suffered from those businesses where they come out and they're doing custom cars and all of a sudden it becomes a junkyard. The facility is going to be perfect, would be perfect for something like this. It does sit right next door to the school district. I think I can have a sludge factory there, a sludge processing factory there. But I think the school district and everybody else would rather have something that would fit these people's needs. So I have worked with them. I have come off my monthly rental prices so they could afford to be there. But we do have a huge roadblock in our way with this M2 zoning. So what I want to express is I think the community outreach on this would be huge to put something here for our children. I dropped my prices because I do want something for the kids. And what they're doing here could lead to scholarships and all kinds of things for the children. It's a perfect place. I don't think the kids will break the cement or anything, and they won't have junk cars. So my vision is that it's on 16 acres too. And my vision is that this facility stops looking like a junkyard. It looks like something I could be proud of. So we're asking for help. We have been working with zoning and county. They're helping us at what they can, but I think we'll need some additional help. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have any additional public comment? Seeing none, we'll move on to our consent agenda. Oh, sorry, I got the nod.
No.
Sorry, the
No, no.
none on line, sorry. Consent agenda.
Consent
Do-
agenda items are expected to be routine and non-controversial. They will be acted upon by the board at one time without discussion. Any board member, staff member, or interested party may request the removal of an item from the consent agenda for later discussion.
Is it? Do any of the board members want to pull any items? Would any member of the public like to pull an item?
Good morning,
Jamie.
Chair and members of the board. I'd like to request that item 8 be pulled from the consent agenda. There's some remaining punch list items that have not yet been completed. And we'll bring this item forward at a future meeting once those have been completed.
What
Thank
number?
8. Thank you. I'm sorry, we're past public comment already.
Actually, my caretaker doesn't arrive until 9.
Please, I'll allow it. Please come forward. Can I? Can I?
Yeah, but we'll finish consent agenda.
Yeah, let me finish what we're doing and then we'll, thank you. So we're eliminating item number 8. Any other items? I'll bring it back to the board.
I'll move the consent minus item 8.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passes 5-0. Thank you. Now, Madam, please come forward.
My name is Billy MacArthur. I'm from Murphy's. Mr. Huberty, I would like to thank you personally for all of the work you're doing on that crazy medium. But that's not the reason that I'm here today. As I said, my husband has dementia and it's severe. He is 81. He probably functions on a 3-year-old level. I am doing the best I can, which is not very good, but it is the best that I could do. I went to the dump the other day, the transfer station there in Murphy's or in Vallecito, And I have a trailer and I don't know how to back it up. And the person who was there was very kind to help me. And I finally got it backed into the spot. And in what I thought was being kind, I made the comment to this person that you might want to step back. I have adult diapers and they're very stinky. And the response of the person was, "Oh my God, we don't take human feces." And they were wrapped and they were sealed and tied. No one was going to touch them. And I was honestly very surprised. And I said to this person, "What am I to do with them?" And I was told that I had to drive them to Milton. And I would have since then checked on the website for integral waste or whatever that department is. I know they have a place that says what can be and what can't be, but my technology skills are not advanced enough and I could not find it. I called them twice. I wrote 2 emails saying, "Please help me understand this." And I have gotten no response. I don't qualify for any services. We're not on Medi-Cal. I have called the Board of Behavioral Sciences here in Calaveras County asking for in-home support and I've been told, no, I don't qualify, which is okay. But when the worker was very helpful, tried to give me suggestions and things like that. So in the end, this person said, call back in a couple of weeks or a week because the person I needed to talk to wasn't there. All I was asking for was a list of names of people of private pay who could come into my home and help me. And I was told, thank you. I was told that this person could not give me the list because I was not their client. I'm out of options. I can't drive to Milton. What do people with babies do? Do they drive to Milton from Arnold, from Murphy's, from?
Billy, let's talk. Please, I've given you my card. Please give me a call and we'll get this rectified. Make it easy for you.
All right, am I done?
You're done. Thank you. Appreciate you coming down. Please give me a call.
Argent your meeting.
We'll move on to our regular agenda, item number 22. Madam Clerk.
Item 22, action item, administrative office. 1, make public benefit finding. And 2, approve community organization district allocations in the total amount of $2,500 to the Resource Connection Food Bank.
Good morning. As part of the fiscal year 25-26 budget, each board member has discretionary funds to give to community organizations. This item is to make a public benefit finding and bring forward $500 from each district for a total of $2,500 dedicated to the Resource Connection Food Bank.
Thank you. Is there any board comment on this?
I will say this, we do this pretty much every year, sometimes more, sometimes less, but I think it's a very good thing that we do. It helps them because they service a lot of people during the holidays that otherwise won't get food, not only just food, but holiday food, turkeys, what have you, ham. So I think it's a very good thing.
Thank you. President Holder.
And given this week that some resources will not be renewed due to federal budget, I think we're gonna see an increase of this organization supporting our community members in the near future. And so I think we're very fortunate to have this resource in our county to provide that.
Supervisor Stopper.
I just want to thank Mr. Toffanelli. In years past, he's organized this to the point where it's come to today. So, thank you, Mr. Toffanelli, and giving us all the opportunity to help in this fashion. It's awesome.
Thank you, Ben. Is there any public comment regarding this item?
We have no online public comment.
Thank you. Get back to the board.
I'll move this item.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passes 5-0, and we have the check. We have somebody here who's going to accept it.
We have a check. And it's a big check. It's a big check we give every year.
It's gonna have to go farther this year.
You bring her a dollar.
Good to come on.
It was either this check or all in $1 bills.
Ready?
You want the video of you taking it to the bank, with the.
Just. We'll move on to item number 23, Madam Clerk.
Item 23, information item. Clerk of the Board of Supervisors receive a presentation from Blue Mountain Coalition for Youth and Families on the services provided to the community.
Good morning. Hi. I have to come up there?
Yeah, you do.
Oh, all right. Can I share some material? Do I come there or sit here? Oh, okay, I can switch my glasses. I have my witch hat in the car.
Would you like to borrow one?
No, I'm all right.
We'll wait for you to get it.
To get it. I mean, coincidentally, I keep it in the car the whole month.
You already bought it.
Okay. Okay, cool. Thank you very much. Thank you. Good morning. My name is Tara Forget, Tara Easton Forget. I'm the director at the Blue Mountain Coalition for Youth and Families in West Point, and I just want to thank you for giving us the opportunity to come down and tell you a little bit about our work in the upcountry community. The Blue Mountain Coalition for Youth and Families was founded in 1995 as a teen center by local parents. We are now an established nonprofit organization, and this year we're celebrating 30 years of serving that community. We operate the Blue Mountain Center on Main Street, the West Point Community Garden, the West Point Farmers Market, and KQBM Blue Mountain Radio. The Blue Mountain Coalition works to enrich the life of our community by creating positive activities and a healthy environment. I'm not getting to the next slide. I never use presentations because it doesn't matter if we've tested it. If I touch it, it doesn't work. Which one? This one. All right. All right. The Blue Mountain Center is open 5 days a week and provides enrichment for more than 80 local kids currently. Our youth programs are at the heart of our organization. Our Lead Up Teen Group serves, currently we have 26 teenagers who attend our teen group. They participate in leadership activities, workshops about substance use prevention, life skills. They also mentor the younger kids that come to our center and help with community events. Our youth club is our free after-school program. Staff from our center walk up to West Point Elementary, meet kids when they get out of school, walk them down the street, and provide free childcare. We have 3 fantastic young staff members who run that program. The kids work in the community garden. We at times work with public health like Cal Fresh programs and anyone that can come and also provide services there at our center. We operate a First 5 play group, which has been going on for 6 years now. And that program works closely with First Five Calaveras and the Resource Connection to make sure that families that come to that program then are connected to other resources that can benefit their family. And in the summer, one of my favorite programs is we run a garden camp for local kids. 4 days during the week, they get dropped off at the West Point Community Garden, and our fully staffed program provides enrichment activities that take them all through the week. We work with community members to provide special workshops on composting, beekeeping, plant care, gardening. It's a super, super fun week. Our community programs include the West Point Farmers Market, which just wrapped its 3rd season in West Point. It's a fantastic program. There are 4 local farms who helped us found the market, and we also use the market as a context to have resources come to West Point. So we invite the bookmobile, public health was there, Resource Connection was there, First Five comes. All of those local services can come to the market and then connect with families there as well. We also serve free community dinners every Tuesday, Thursday evening. We cook those meals with produce that's grown in the West Point Community Garden. And our center is also used by yoga classes, art classes, currently Spanish classes. We do a trivia night. The West Point Garden Club uses our center, and we are always open to the space being used by community members who are looking for a space for their group to meet. I took over at the Blue Mountain Coalition for Youth and Families about 6 years ago. And in my time there, one of my primary goals has been to provide additional resources to our community by partnering with agencies and organizations that are already doing incredible work in the community. So this list is just some of our major partners that we're working with to bring services right up to West Point. As I'm sure you know, West Point is one of our most remote rural communities. It's 40 minutes to services or major businesses or grocery stores. With our additional road construction going on, it took me about 50 minutes to get down here today. So anything that we can do to bring opportunities and services to families in West Point is really a critical way to reach them, because in addition to the drive time, transportation, not everyone has reliable transportation, and gas prices are sometimes prohibitive for people to come down on a regular basis. So by working with these other county agencies and organizations providing services, they can bring those things to families right in West Point. Our organization is open 5 days a week. And because we own and operate this large Blue Mountain Center right on Main Street, we can provide the context for these people to come. We have the bookmobile coming. We have MACT coming once a month to provide services right there on site. See, it's like magic. I touch things, they don't work. Let's see what we got here. Let me just give you an example of why that matters so much. So imagine a family that just moved to town up in West Point. They have kids, a tight budget, and they don't know anybody yet. Imagine they're driving down Main Street in West Point and they see the West Point Farmers Market happening. So they pull in and they stop. They're able to use their EBT SNAP benefits to get market dollars to buy produce direct from West Point farmers. They're invited into the center to join the community meal, where they sit down at a family-style table with other local families. By talking to these families, they find out that their little one can come to the First Five playgroup on Wednesdays, and their 3rd grader can come to the youth club after school for free, and that their teenager can come to the teen leadership group and meet other teenagers in town. The next week, say they're picking their kid up from youth club and the MACT mobile health unit is on site. So they are able to sign their family up for services, connect to local healthcare, and maybe get services right there on site that they need. So in that one connect, by stopping at an event at the Blue Mountain Center, they're connected to all of these other services that they can access in our community and in our town. Food, childcare, healthcare, connection. That's what we're able to offer by serving our community right there on Main Street. So I want to thank you for your time today and just ask you to remember West Point in our town when you're doing your work, and to think of our work if you're looking for ways to support the upcountry community. Can I answer any questions for you about our organization?
Any questions? Supervisor Topper?
No.
Supervisor Randolph?
Mine's a comment. As Tara was describing what takes place at the Blue Mountain Center, I literally had chills because I've witnessed it. I've witnessed new members of the community that have a feeling of isolation because West Point is incredibly isolated. Walk in there and receive connections to services they did not know existed, that they desperately needed. So thank you, Tara. As I'm out and about in other District 2 communities, I'm constantly referencing the work you do.
Thank you.
You lead by example. Your youth center and your whole team, puppets and all, are a shining light in District 2, and we greatly appreciate all that you do.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. I would, if you're ever up in West Point, and it's not quite as far as you think, I described it dramatically, but it's actually a beautiful drive up there. Please stop by and see us. You can't miss us. We have a fantastic staff and a fun space to be in, and I'd love for you to come and see our work and meet some of the people we work with. So my contact information is on those materials. Reach out to me anytime.
Thank you, Tara. Is there any public comment regarding this informational item? Is there any comment online?
We have no online public
Oh,
comments, but we do
okay.
have in.
My name's Diana Inslee, and I've been a board member of Blue Mountain Coalition for Youth and Families for probably 15 years. So I've seen the transition from different leaders to different leaders. When Tara became our executive director, the first year she asked us to make a wish list for a 5-year plan. Sorry. We did it all. We met every goal on our wish list. We are open 5 days a week. We are serving more children. I just say thank you. Oh, thank you. Sorry. It's really a good place. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Another comment. My apologies.
I'm coming up as a parent of a child that goes to Blue Mountain, and I encourage you to go up there at any time. It is absolutely amazing what they have to do for the children, the autonomy they give them. And last year, I can give an example. The staff went to Walmart, bought a whole bunch of stuff for the children to then go and use Blue Mountain books to purchase items to get to their families for Christmas. It was well thought out, and it is an amazing place. And my daughter gets up every morning, and when I say it's Blue Mountain Day, she's very excited. So I'm thankful for that.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Supervisor Stopper would like to say something.
Not so much as a question as a statement, Tara. Your organizational skills and your devotion to the community since you were young is phenomenal. And, you know, everyone up there, I mean, you see it there, and thank you for serving on the board and giving her the opportunity. I mean, there's no words for it. You do well by your own.
Thank you. Thank you, Ben. I appreciate that.
So thank you. Thank you for all that you do.
Yeah, come and see us sometime.
Will do.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Move on now to item number 24, Madam Clerk.
Item 24, action item, Administration Office. 1, receive a presentation from the Calaveras County Water District on the Sustainable Groundwater Management Act and the Eastside San Joaquin Groundwater Sustainability Agency. And 2, provide direction on the potential establishment of a Calaveras GSA to oversee SGMA compliance within Calaveras County portion of Eastern San Joaquin Basin, and direct staff to evaluate the governance structure of the Calaveras GSA and bring an item back to the board for consideration.
Thank you.
Chair Huberty, I'm gonna go have a snack and take a break for a minute from this, just recuse myself for the time being.
Thank you very much.
Drop my mic, so. You guys can't hear one. Okay.
Morning, Andrew.
Hi, morning. Morning. This
Very well, thanks.
certainly
Yeah.
won't be nearly as exciting and engaging as the last presentation in that the organization of Blue Mountain, but I will try to convey the importance of groundwater management in the county. Okay, so my name is Andrew Renshaw. I'm the Water Resources Manager at Calaveras County Water District. Here joining me today, I have my Water Resources Specialist, Banna, and Board Member Garamendi. General Manager Michael Minkler would have loved to be here. Unfortunately, fortunately, however you want to look at it, he's talking to folks in Washington, D.C. Today, I would like to give you a kind of basic overview of the Sustainable Groundwater Management Act, affectionately known as SGMA, and our Calaveras County portion of that legislation. I have some very basic slides to kind of go over that and briefly kind of update you all on the East Side San Joaquin GSA. And we are seeking some direction from the County Board of Supervisors on how we might go about thinking about managing groundwater resources more locally in Calaveras County. Okay, well, a little formatting, but so Sustainable Groundwater Management Act at the 30,000 foot view here. It's driven by local management. So that local management occurred through the development of a brand new agency in the state of California. It's called a Groundwater Sustainability Agency. And this occurred back in 2017, where the legislation effectively stated that these groundwater basins throughout the state that are defined by the Department of Water Resources needed to be managed by local agencies that come together, create a groundwater sustainability agency that have land use, water, or some sort of flood kind of natural resources jurisdiction. Surprisingly, to most, actually, the entire state got covered and GSAs were developed throughout the entire state. The next step in the process was for these GSAs to develop what's called a groundwater sustainability plan. These plans are meant to be long-term projections in terms of developing a method for sustainably managing groundwater. In a lot of ways, groundwater extraction and pumping and the land use purposes for that groundwater pumping into the future. And in our portion of the groundwater community, there's what's called a critically overdrafted basin. And these basins have been pumping groundwater for a long time in excess of the amount of water that gets back into the ground. These plans or these areas had to develop their GSPs and have them submitted to the Department of Water Resources by January of 2020. Surprisingly, again, every one of those basins and GSA submitted a plan and everybody was compliant. The whole point in kind of the umbrella, this 30,000 foot view, the whole point of the GSP is to establish these criteria and these methods and these processes and these management strategies to avoid these 6 sustainability indicators, or some folks call them the 6 deadly sins. And what they are here is the chronic lowering of groundwater levels. So this is when water levels, the groundwater aquifer is continuing to decline. Then there's the reduction of storage. You can think of an aquifer no different than a surface reservoir. It holds a volume of water. If you pump it out, more, then you put it back in, you're gonna reduce that amount of storage. Seawater intrusion, certainly don't need to worry about that up in Calaveras County. Degraded water quality, this is something that is a concern or can be a concern in our particular area. Land subsidence, not necessarily something that the county needs to worry about due to the geology and the physical nature of the geography. And then depletions of interconnected surface water. This is a tricky one. This is something that the broader groundwater management community and that the county is related or associated with is investigating. And this is effectively how pumping groundwater takes water away from streams and therefore depletes the amount of flow in those streams. It's somewhat of a new phenomenon to try to manage and try to address. So those are 6 undesirable results, sustainability indicators that we're trying to avoid. Exasperating. There is a state oversight and enforcement piece. So the state oversight, the Department of Water Resources kind of acts as they get a carrot and a stick where they provide technical assistance, financial assistance to these GSAs to implement and develop these plans, but they also have to review the plans and provide a determination of compliance. And I'll get into the specifics of our local Sigma implementation here, but if the plan is not approved, then the State Water Board, State Water Resource Control Board acts as the backstop and is effectively the hammer or the enforcing agent to help get the locals back on track. Last item here is that sustainability must be reached by 2040. And this seemed like a long ways away back when this was passed in 2014. However, we're really not that far off from 2040 now. So a quick overview of kind of Sigma and the groundwater basin in Calaveras County's relation to that. So what we have here in the pink is the Eastern San Joaquin groundwater basin. This is the critically overdrafted basin that Calaveras County currently overlies. And that portion of Calaveras County outlined in yellow in the green there is our little sliver of that basin. The green area is the East Side GSA, the East Side San Joaquin Groundwater Sustainability Agency, which the county and CCWD are associated with, and we'll get more into that. And then the 2 other colors here, purple is the North San Joaquin Water Conservation District, directly adjacent to the county, and Stockton East Water District, who are 2 downstream collaborative partners. So a little background on the East Side Groundwater Sustainability Agency. Sorry for the formatting. In April 2017, an original memorandum of understanding between Stanislaus County, Calaveras County Water District, and the relatively small water district, Rock Creek Water District, came together and they developed the initial Groundwater Sustainability Agency, kind of as this initial effort to get that compliance point in the state. GSAs were had to have been established by this time in 2017. They had to be established in 2017. So we got through that regulatory hurdle by establishing this MOU. At the time, the parties had agreed to develop a coordinated financing plan and kind of a cost share agreement. However, that didn't necessarily materialize. And then in April of 2018, the following year, the MOU was amended to include the county as a contributing member to the GSA. The next kind of phase of the MOU amendment here, the GSA established a technical advisory committee in response to the governor's executive order to effectively monitor and track groundwater well permitting. And this is kind of important in a way because counties generally permit groundwater wells differently, and they generally fall within different kind of agencies within those counties. So this became kind of a sticking point, or somewhat of a coordination challenge within the GSA and within this MOU structure to kind of properly administer this executive order. The way the MOU is structured then currently is there's 4 members. Each member has a board, and to get any GSA action approved, 3 out of 4 of those boards have to approve the action in order to move forward. There also is a cost component to this where that pink portion of the Eastern San Joaquin groundwater basin is administered by the Eastern San Joaquin Groundwater Authority. And feel free to stop me at any time and answer. Sorry, I'm rattling off a lot of acronyms and so on. But at any rate, the broader management of the basin falls under this umbrella agency, which is the Groundwater Authority, which is basically administered down in Stockton, and historically has been administered through the San Joaquin County. That's starting to change. They have a new executive director and so on, and we've been engaged with them, and I'll touch on that. But there is a fee. There's a Groundwater Authority fee that the Eastside GSA has to pay, and CCWD in Calaveras County pays 25% of that fee, and it's based on a projected amount of pumping for that next year. And we can get into that here in a little bit. So just kind of on that, the kind of difference between pumping and looking at the Eastside GSA kind of geographically, here's just some factoids. So the total acreage for the Calaveras County portion of the GSA is about 40% of total, where 60% of the total acreage lies within Stanislaus County. And then with that, the yellow orangish coloring indicates irrigated agriculture. And something you can see there is that there's far more irrigated agriculture occurring in Stanislaus County than Calaveras County, to the tune of about 93% versus 7% of the total area within the GSA that is irrigated in Calaveras County. And this is important because the way that SGMA is applied, kind of from a regulatory standpoint, is how is that water being extracted and what is it being put to use for? And then the way you actually manage that then is thinking about, you have 2 levers. You pull one lever and reduce the pumping, or you can pull the other lever and kind of reconsider land use. So you're using less of that, less groundwater extraction. Kind of a busy slide. I apologize in the formatting got a little wonky here, but I'll try to work through it here. So the image on the right is kind of indicating it's satellite imagery that the Department of Water Resources provides, and that's all of the crop acreage within the Eastern San Joaquin groundwater basin. And what I want to show here is that the land use in the southern portion of our GSA in Stanislaus County largely mirrors the rest of the basin, where the land use, particularly in the way of irrigated agriculture, doesn't necessarily represent the broader Eastern San Joaquin groundwater basin. So the Calaveras County portion of the groundwater basin is somewhat unique, I would say, and certainly unique as it relates to the Stanislaus County portion of the basin. There's other unique challenges that come with the Eastside GSA. The governance is one of them. As mentioned, the MOU, the way the MOU is developed, it's a loose agreement, is basically that these 4 acting members have to go to their board and get approval to get anything done. There's a coordination piece that's been challenging. And a keen example of that is that executive order on the well permitting, where Stanislaus County generally has a different process for well permitting than Calaveras County. So that proved to be challenging. And then there's this cost sharing challenge where it's the costs are basically divided up by groundwater extraction, by pumping, and we pump a fraction of what Stanislaus County pumps. However, we still eat about a quarter of the cost. So these governance challenges, coordination, that's one piece of it. However, there's also these physical challenges and these just managerial challenges as it relates to the resource, where the water supply, Stanislaus County, this portion of Stanislaus County is wholly reliant on groundwater. And as already highlighted, there's a fair amount of irrigated agriculture that is irrigated with groundwater. Whereas in this portion of Calaveras County, there is surface water use. CCWD has the large service area, area that is providing surface water. That's not to say there isn't any irrigated agriculture and domestic groundwater use, but we have access to surface water, which is a unique aspect of in many basins in groundwater basins in the state. I'm just going to move on.
Can I ask you really quickly?
Yes.
The coloration.
Yeah.
Is the purple, are they taking more water than the tan and the yellow, not so much, or how does that coloration work?
Yeah, so this is a satellite image that's provided by the state that basically distinguishes crop type. So the colors are actually different types of crops.
Got it.
And the
Thank you.
purples are grapes. And the orange is deciduous nut crops like walnuts and almonds, things of that nature. So you can see that it's predominantly nut crops, and that's kind of
Take a lot of water.
Yes, right. And that's yeah, exactly. So those are some of the challenges that we're facing with this Eastside GSA. And mind you, and I should have mentioned this on the onset, Sigma was instated in 2014. So we're well 10 years into this thing. And we're really starting to see the kind of the crack, so to say, kind of show. So why are we here today? And is to discuss this concept of restructuring the Eastside GSA to effectively separate the GSA into two different agencies based on the county line. This would effectively eliminate a lot of the challenges with the multi-county GSA. And quite frankly, multi-county groundwater sustainability agencies in the state are fairly rare. And this would eliminate that current MOU structure that is somewhat tenuous, for lack of a better term. However, this wouldn't be this isn't a insignificant action. This is going to take a fair amount of coordination, obviously, with you all and the broader Calaveras County community, but also with Stanislaus County, with the Department of Water Resources, with the Eastern San Joaquin Groundwater Authority, which we've already started those conversations. And so we've met with the new executive director at the Eastern San Joaquin Groundwater Authority, and they're supportive of this. They get it, they understand, in the way that things are starting to be implemented in terms of taking the plan and putting it kind of boots on the ground. It's a pragmatic approach to moving forward as we approach 2040. We've also discussed this kind of cursory with Stanislaus County, and we're engaging with them to coordinate on kind of the ministerial components of this. And the next, well, I think the next steps. So before the next steps here, just again, to reiterate kind of the added benefits of just having the Calaveras County GSA, and we can call it whatever we would please, but is this more efficient governance and more efficient administration of the agency, reducing overhead, providing a bit more time and resources to think about projects and management actions, they're called, meaning getting water into the ground or developing demand management efforts, conjunctive use efforts, and so on. But also having a Calaveras GSA provides a more direct communication pathway with the broader groundwater community. We're up in the foothills, a lot of folks down in the basin. There's a lot of players. There's 16 GSAs. And there are a fair amount of challenges to overcome and to maintain compliance through the state regulatory pathways. So having our own GSA can be a bit more nimble to react to those challenges. But we need to think about kind of our governance, how we want to approach this groundwater agency as a community, as a county, with our local agency partners like the Resource Conservation District and so on. And think how we want to approach it, because there's a handful of ways we can skin this cat. And we want to be collaborative. We want to make sure every voice is heard. We want to make sure land use is preserved, but we also need to kind of nip it in the bud in a way to better understand our groundwater use, where and when it's happening, and how much. But then also how to administer these projects and management actions to best kind of mitigate any of the issues that might come with that groundwater use. So next steps. We are, as I mentioned, actively coordinating with Stanislaus County and Rock Creek Water District to get this kind of administrative processes rolling. We need to take this proposal to the Groundwater Authority. We've discussed it with them in kind of a private meeting, but we need to go to the broader Groundwater Authority board and present this to them. As I mentioned, there will be ministerial efforts. There's GSA filings, future plan edits. And I'll add that we would not be certainly the first to do this. This has happened many times, meaning restructuring of GSAs, creating new GSAs and so on. This has happened all over the state. So this wouldn't be a huge shock to really anybody. But we would need to meet with DWR, discuss it with them, get our ducks in a row. And then there's a couple kind of on that physical side of things and like the active management side of things. We'll need to identify sites for monitoring, which we're currently actively doing now. The county has 2 wells that were installed by the United States Geological Survey that the CCWD facilitated. So we're actively getting access to those, and we're going to incorporate those into the broader Groundwater Authority monitoring effort, and they're going to provide some equipment to us. We've contracted with Woodard and Kern Consulting Group to provide an updated groundwater assessment for the Calaveras County portion of the basin. And there's 3 goals of this updated or contemporary assessment. The primary one being is to better understand that how much water are we pumping? Like, can we reasonably pin that down? And with that, through that exercise of evaluating that, we'll be able to see what kind of data we have in terms of where wells are, what type of wells there are, how deep they are, and those sorts of components which make managing the resource much easier. As they say, it's hard to manage what you don't know. And then also we're going to start to develop or assess the feasibility of implementing projects within the county to either get water into the ground or collaborate with like the Resource Conservation District to do some nature-based solutions to try to mitigate some of the groundwater pumping that occurs in the basin. So I apologize again for kind of the wonky slides. I threw a lot of info at you, and a lot of jargon, I'll admit. But we do want to seek your direction and get some insight from you all on kind of a path forward. And we certainly want to continue to collaborate and we hope that this Calaveras GSA or whatever we want to call it, can move forward and be successful kind of right out the gate.
Thank you. Do we have any questions from the board? Supervisor Fallendorf? No? All right,
No question. Okay.
go ahead. Is there any public comment? Like to acknowledge Supervisor Garamendi?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, honorable members of the board. It's a pleasure to stand in front of you today representing Calaveras County Water District. As you are all aware, in 1948, when this was formed, it was to protect the water rights of Calaveras County, as well as make sure we utilize them as best we can. That was before we ever turned on a tap in anybody's house or let someone flush a toilet. That's where we began. We really look forward to working with your board to find ways to bring this to a reasonable organization that'll work for us for the next 25 years. We stand ready as a board to work with you. And I think we could come up with a solution that protects and enhances Calaveras County. I'll stand by if you guys have any questions. But thank you very much. And Andrew, thank you for your presentation today.
Thank you so much. Is there any other public comment?
We have no online public comment.
Thank you. Bring it back to the board.
I don't have a question, I just have a comment, because one of the bullets is what do we do next? And how do we collaborate and partner? Personally, I am open to allowing staff to coordinate with CCWD staff to see what that plan looks like. So the respective boards can make informed decision. I do agree with Supervisor Board Member Garamendi that we have a job to do, which is to protect our resources. And we need to make a decision that will be beneficial and last beyond the next generation to protect this water and ensure that we can provide for our county and not be cornered into what might be the best interest on the other side of the county line. So I am open to that. If that's enough, if that isn't too big for staff, if that makes sense where I'm going with it, but I will let my colleagues put their input in.
Well, if I may, we absolutely would entertain and respect and value the coordination with the county staff to potentially develop some scenarios or some options in which this GSA could be formed. And because like I said, there's a handful of ways we could go about this kind of governance structure. And there's pros and cons to base pretty much all of them. But yeah, we would love to coordinate on that and bring that back to you all and yeah, whatever we can do to help that.
Great.
I just have a couple questions regarding Stanislaus County. You guys have reached out to Stanislaus County?
Yes.
You had meetings with it? Did you involve the county at all? Did you contact the county since we're all in MOU? You guys separately on your own went out and contacted Stanislaus and having these meetings? Because this is the first time hearing about it, is now that you guys have reached out to them. I wasn't contacted. I'm the board representative for this.
Right.
So-
Well, we had contacted kind of our staff. We've done the staff level discussion with them. We have not yet gotten into a room with kind of the county or the I guess the leadership that's above basically the water resources manager over in Stanislaus County. So we've mentioned this, or we referenced it to them that we're hoping to move forward with this. But we need to have those higher level discussions.
Okay, going forward from here, I don't care if it was staff to staff or whatever, you never informed us that you were gonna do that. And so going forward, I would like to be involved in it. Anytime you reach out to Stanislaus County about any separation, any meeting at whatever level, just so we're aware of what's going on. And we know what's the content of the conversation and what we're discussing with
right.
them.
Yeah.
Just so we're
Right.
aware of it. So.
Yeah, and we certainly will engage more closely with you all. We did provide at our offices in CCWD a few weeks back, maybe even a month or so or more, kind of a primer on this, and that we were looking to move forward with this, and that's kind of what spurred this Board of Supervisors item. But we were kind of hitting a point with the new executive director of the Eastern San Joaquin Groundwater Authority, where there's some pressures from the Groundwater Authority to conduct some of these implementation measures that are in the plan that we had to kind of move forward with the whether or not making this decision as to whether or not we're going to separate from Stanislaus County. And a big piece of that, and I mean, it's public information, I could lay it out to you, is the Groundwater Authority is currently working hard to figure out how to mitigate effectively 100,000 acre feet a year of groundwater overdraft. So, and they're divvying that up amongst the GSAs, and we are a part of the GSA with Stanislaus County, as we're all aware. And I think our value comes out to be somewhere on the order of 15,000 acre feet a year, which, you know, I'm sure you could imagine that a lion's share of that pumping occurs in Stanislaus County. So from those kind of external pressures from the Groundwater Authority, we had to start to get the ball in motion, so to say. But I don't want to undermine your point that we need to be lockstep coordination with you all.
Yeah, I'm just saying we should had a conversation about it so everybody's on board or everybody understands what's going on. Just hearing about it now is it's not. I mean, I don't know how far along you are with them, but I'd surely like to be updated, and so going forward.
Absolutely.
All right.
I have a follow-up question for a comment you just made. Okay, so the GSA has 100 acre feet of water that they need to mitigate. If this is divided into two GSAs, does that number dwindle for a new, maybe this is information that can come back later, but does that number get reduced if we're split into two GSAs, or are we still, because we share the same basin, but gonna divide the oversight, are we still committed to that amount of acre feet? Am I acting that right?
No, you're
Okay.
you're making sense. No, effectively, we would, that total amount of water that would be kind of divvied up, so to say, to the east side GSA, so it would be separated. So the Calaveras County portion, and I'm gonna make an assumption, is largely less than what would be allocated to stamps. And that's part of this updated groundwater assessment effort we're working through, is to better define what that volume of water is.
Okay, thank you.
But our monitoring wells that we have should give us a good indication of how much we are using versus Stanislaus till we get to that point.
Yes, right, yes. So we're gonna be with Woodard and Curran, the consultant team, we provided all that data to them. And not to be doom and gloom, but those groundwater levels are declining. They have declined for years. So we kind of need to arrest that and get a handle on it.
Supervisor Andal?
I will echo my colleagues. Water is everything. And I'm in support of staff working actively on this with you all. Interested to see that assessment and what Calaveras County actuals are and look, within our borders of what we are doing and what best serves our community.
And I agree with my colleagues. Thank you very much for bringing this forward. Look forward to seeing the next step go forward. And unless there are any other questions, administration.
And all these numbers, and I would like to have some of that information. Staff is collaborating with CCWD, so we can see the big picture. I want to know those numbers, and because I know, it will really, and how that's going to influence the financial side too. So when you're working through this, can it be, I know there's a broad picture of what we need to do move forward, but I like some of those details to make that, cause that is a big part of it, is financially, how we're going to navigate some of that stuff.
And just for the record, I agree with everybody on the board, having staff looking to work.
Thank you, Supervisor. I think that take care of it then.
All right.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Andrew.
you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here
Thank you,
today.
Jack.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jack.
Okay, we'll move on to our last item.
Should we get super?
Oh, yeah, wait. No, let's forget it.
So quiet.
It's more. You're a gentleman. And smaller. Well, that happens. I would have forgot.
Stacy was looking out.
Stacy was looking out for you.
Stacy. Dan Ross.
Thank you.
Item number 25.
Ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Item 25, informational item, information technology. Receive a presentation from the Information Technology Department on the recent AT&T fiber network outage, its disruption to 911 services, and exploration of short and long-term mitigation strategies.
Yeah. Morning, Len. Morning, Eric.
A great one.
And it's almost over. That's okay.
I'll give you some pointers to make.
Good morning, board. I'm Len DeGroot, the IT director, and with me is Eric Holt, our Director of Office of Emergency Services. And we're here today to talk about the 911 outage that happened October 15th. As we all know, pretty much at this point, the Caltrans was digging in Burson, and they managed to hit fiber and knocked out internet all the way from Burson all the way through San Andreas and all the way to Tuolumne County. It was a pretty large outage. It was one of the key things is that not only did it knock out AT&T service, but everybody who relied on them. AT&T provides what's called backbone service. So a lot of other companies will use their lines to transmit their data, including cell services, other ISPs, internet service providers, and most key Verizon, who is our backup service for 911. Generally, it works very well with Verizon, but with the size of this outage, they also lost access to like 12 towers. So they went down very widely as well. Within minutes, all of the incoming 911 calls to the sheriff's office were rerouted. Many of them went through the CHP, which is where most of the cell calls already go through there. And then were then forwarded to working cell phones within the sheriff's office and dispatch, so they could dispatch cars. Others were sent to Amador County. We have an agreement with them. And they were again forwarding to us so that we could respond and dispatch as needed. That part of it worked very well, right? We went from the primary to the secondary to the tertiary failover. And so we were receiving 911 calls, or they were being responded to within a very reasonable amount of time, within minutes. One of the main problems that we ran into was that the county, when we have an outage, it loses the external calling, right? Because our phone system, we have a voice over internet protocol, VoIP phone system that goes through AT&T. And so when they went down, we very often lose our external calling, both in and out, right? So many people were switched to cell phones. We still had our backup internet operating. So a lot of people within the county switched to Wi-Fi calling, which we can do. And so they were able to take calls and take some calls that way. The other impact was that many residents who were in areas where cell service was knocked out and internet was knocked out, lost access to the ability to call 911, right? The only people who could call 911 in those areas were people who had landlines, or what's called POTS, right? The plain old telephone service with the copper lines. Those get routed to Sacramento and then forwarded as expected. So it's a different system, and those kinds of things tend to keep working. In terms of addressing some of the problems we have, right? Having a secondary service on something that's using the same fiber as their backbone is potentially problematic. There is an opportunity there to have discussions about another provider that uses a different path. That is one of the sort of the important things that we should be considering in terms of doing that, though that would also require working with the state, because they have 911 system is a state system. And so we would have to work with them to do that kind of thing. Related to that is encouraging more infrastructure. So the state is working on their middle mile broadband project right now. That would create another path through here. So it would make it easier again to identify a provider and have a secondary path, so our failover remained on fiber, and those kind of things help from that standpoint. And then there's also an opportunity if we wanted to, for our internal external calling problem, we could explore ways of doing that. We investigated some already, like moving to sort of a cloud service to do that, and that's not as easy as we thought it would be. So I think our next step would be, having discussions with AT&T, figuring out how we could, in that kind of scenario, start rerouting some of the county services phones to cell phones, or because it wasn't just 911, right? HHSA has some critical services that the public needs to access. So if we could, start rerouting those and have a plan for that, that's one of the things we're working on next. To figure out how to deal with those outages when they come along. Then lastly, there's, the challenges for residents are actually harder to mitigate, right? If they have a POTS line, that's their best defense. If they don't have a POTS line, it's, making sure that they enable roaming on their phones if their service goes out, so they can pick up another active tower in the area. And then when they enable Wi-Fi, and then enabling Wi-Fi calling, and there's really a critical component to that. The first time you enable Wi-Fi calling on your phone, you're forced to put in your 911 address. If people move and they don't update that address, then the 911 system has no idea where they are, or they think they're at the wrong address. So if you're using Wi-Fi calling and you move, it's important to update your address so that 911 knows where you are. And that's really it. And Eric is here because he has a very deep understanding of different 911 systems. So if you have any questions, we'd be happy to answer them.
I don't know if I would classify it as a deep, complex, and confusing system, but I did just want to impart that I did a little digging. So the legacy 911 system, it's covered by
There it
what?
is.
There you go.
Am I on?
Yeah.
Okay, so the legacy 911 system that you would have seen started in like the 60s was landline based. Since we've gone to E911 or enhanced 911, but there is a FCC initiative that is ran through the state called Next Generation 911, which is hundreds of millions of dollars and has reached delays. So we are not at the new system as of yet, but that is for what we saw happen in October 15th. It was it is to solve that, right? So if you think about the new technologies on like an iPhone, if you have the latest and you have ever been off of cell service, you can still dial 911 via satellite. A lot of the internet-based calling does not tap into the E911, which will be a gap fix. So we're in a period of transitional time in technology right now. If residents of the county have, the latest and greatest phones, they should be able to, even when that fiber line is cut through satellite. In talking with our dispatch center, Len had mentioned that all cell phone networks go through the state CHP PSAP, so the Public Safety Access Point, and then would transfer if it's a sheriff's call over to us and CAL FIRE and all them, right? So in talking to Lieutenant Dorsey up there, he thought that a Band-Aid fix in the interim period would be kind of like a satellite internet dedicated Starlink, right, and a few phones at a low cost, which I can get that cost and bring it to the board as a, public benefit, if that is the direction. But I would say that education on, upgrading your phones, and then alternative we can assist with, and that is our best option, and then supplement our dispatch call center with a very cost-effective backup system. And we kind of wait for the state to catch up on funding for the next generation. Anything else is very cost prohibited and really unrealistic because it is a state mandated system. And that's all I have, unless you have questions.
Supervisor Stopper.
We've had this conversation in the 6 years ago. Redundancy, second line were conversations. Now, the middle mile coming in, I know there's a little bit of there's gaps. So there is another fiber line coming up 26 also. But I don't know where the gap is. So, and I believe they're both AT&T, is that correct?
The second line, Comcast has a line coming up 26.
Oh, okay, then it's
Yeah.
Comcast coming up that way. Which, right now with the middle mile, that's where a controversy is on getting the money.
Well, the middle mile is funded.
Okay,
So, and the middle mile follows.
it's the last mile.
Forward to 49 and then heads up 26 up by West Point and cuts across.
There's a fiber line coming up 26 from Stockton through Rancho. There's markers on the side of the highway that I made sure I didn't hit anywhere near when I was pounding political sign posts, and I know that's been hit prior also by his, which puts into question Caltrans call 811.
No
But beyond the jokes, we talk about line lines. We have Ma Bell, like the hard lines are going away.
Yeah.
And this is where, even if it was 60s and outdated, when they got put together, we're losing some of the redundancy that rural areas depend on. You already told the solutions that I was thinking about, satellite uplink, but at the same time, when you talk about the latest in phones, we're in a rural area. We know what the median household income is in a lot of the rural area. And even if they get government provided phones, those phones are much older and not the ones that are needed to be able to establish this. So I don't, there's a gap there that we can't fill, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I definitely think that there is a gap that is not solvable at the current time.
Until the new system gets put in, and then it'll be filtered out over a certain amount of time from there, Eric?
Yeah, I think in my sort of idea is to create a preparedness plan for it in the event that this happens. And then we
Yeah.
have kind of pre-designated cell phone numbers that come out of the red box, if you will, linked to the StarNet. And we can publish that number. It can be text to. We can, alternate the switch, quote unquote, over to Amador and relay that stuff. There's variables that we could do at a cost of staff time to create. And then if the board would approve, a dedicated, again, uplink over there. Right now, they do have a Starlink, but it is used for multiple purposes. If we could have one dedicated to the dispatch center that can be fired up and used along with, a box of these phones that they can be deployed out. Even if you were to put one in a patrol car and put it out in Burson, right? If they're on a network within the area, they may be able to receive it better in the switches and all that.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the low cost and only viable solution I could come with. The rest is going to be under Cal OES and state funding from the feds, and we know how that is quickly dissipating. So
Yeah.
the next gen will come. Again, it got stalled in 2023, and I haven't seen an update since. We are a rural county, so we'll probably be the last of the group to get tapped into it, but there just isn't a solution. It would.
We know about the Comcast line.
Yeah.
I mean, there's an option for redundancy there. Is there?
Yes, but we would have to work with the state on that. In fact, I believe the next gen 911 operates on Comcast. But so we would have to negotiate with the state because.
So a CPUC?
So I actually don't think it matters who owns the line. I think it's the FirstNet agreement.
Yeah.
Actually, I know it is the FirstNet agreement, which was Verizon and AT&T.
Well, that's,
And
it
now
does
it's
matter
okay.
who owns the line then.
Well, for the purposes of the 911.
Yeah.
It's an all access thing. It's kind of a share.
Right.
So nobody can cut off the gate to other service providers. That's the FirstNet push that happened within the last decade. But obviously the redundancy of like having more than one. So if this line cuts.
Yeah.
We can.
Well, that's what I mean, is like, is it, so it takes negotiations with SAC. Or the state government. That said, and a satellite uplink's also an option. I mean, I think that more than just a secondary, because stuff happens.
Yeah. And then we could come back to you with costs on those kinds of things.
Yeah.
Right now, we currently use Comcast as our backup. So when AT&T went down, we still had internet here on the campus because we have a Comcast backup.
Right.
Right. So we could look into having a Comcast backup for the sheriff's office as well. But I mean, we'd have to really look into what that would entail.
Right. Totally get it. Thank you. That answers some.
Supervisor Hollander?
I was just gonna comment on the comment just now about the sheriff's office. I think that would be worthy. I think I know that there's dollar signs behind that, but given what seriousness this is, I think we owe that investment a really thoughtful of that to see how we can do this. Because if we're gonna be depending on these fiber optics going into the future and this happened again, we can't afford it. We can't, that's, I don't even want to know what kind of life could be lost because someone couldn't get through. So
Awesome.
I think that it's a worthy investment for this community to really dive in and look at, and I would be open to what that could bring back to solve that. The other thing that I would like to see more of is, we're not the only jurisdiction. I think better collaboration with our partners with the city to let them know what was going on would have been worthy of that because we do have city residents that were also impacted by this. And they were not, other than the phone call I made, they were not informed that this was happening. And so I think letting their fire department know and their PD, and even going forward, is there maybe another hub that we can tap into with the resources at the city because they were on opposite services? So something could get through that we weren't getting, and so maybe there's a collaboration. And then talking with the current city administrator, they are open to that discussion, especially in emergency situation.
So if I could, actually, one other suggestion, we always look for new technology. I think the old technology of like ham radio, so where I came from, my previous job, we had one in my fire station. That could be tapped into in like a blizzard when all the other networks are down, ham still works. And we do have an amateur radio, or two groups. I know D2's got a couple stations. We could theoretically put an antenna at the sheriff's office or one designated point, as well as the city council building or administration building over there, and guarantee that we have a low-tech bulletproof sort of system at a very minimal cost.
Thank you for bringing that up, because I was going to talk about the GMRS and the ERSN group that we have on the Upper Highway 4 corridor. I mean, again, it's not a fail-safe, but it gives you one more option of communication, and it's incredibly inexpensive. I mean, I think both units were $35. We do a call. We did a call in last night. Every Monday night we do a call in. Every Saturday morning we do a call in. So I know that the residents are all listening. It does give us just one more opportunity to communicate.
Yeah, and all it would require, honestly, is an MOU with the two different groups and an installation of that antenna on the building. And the MOU would be that they could come in and facilitate, so we don't have training or equipment costs. I think they would be more than willing to in my engagement with them.
I would love to come with Supervisor Randall and talk to you about that.
Okay, sounds great. I love that.
Yes, I'm in agreement with the supervisors and what they said. This was a terrible situation. And part of the situation is, and I don't know how we can change this, it happened about 9:30 in the morning, but we weren't notified until 1:30. We knew that there was problems going on. We didn't know what it was. We had no idea. Was it going to come back on? We just did not know until 1:30, and that was a long length of time. So I want to thank staff for, once they found out, everything they did to do to what we could do to get things back online, including transferring to Amador County Sheriffs for the 911 calls and everything else. But it still puts our constituents in a situation like I had no cell phone service. And even a lot of the elder people in the county, they just have landline services. And so they were cut off. And so if there was, I just thank God that we didn't have any emergencies that had to do with people needing to be transported to the hospitals. That didn't happen. And I think that's something that needs to be at least looked at. I think Caltrans, I don't know why we were delayed. Maybe they didn't realize that what they'd cut, the tremendous amount of what happened with it. And so they delayed until they realized what was happening. But I think that's something we may be able to look at too. If something like this happens again, since we have the experience of it, that we could go into automatic mode first and then find out what's happening. But we can turn on all the things we're doing, talking about now to alleviate this, and then come back and find out. Maybe it's something that wasn't that bad, but maybe it was. But at least we got the opportunity there to people that can call in, the ability that they can reach us. And so those are my comments.
To that point, I think having, for IT to have a communication protocol right? So generally, we are reaching out to AT&T trying to find out what's going on, right? But actually, and then, to go, okay, we need to let everybody know that we don't, even if we don't know what it is yet, we need to let everybody know what's going on. So, I mean, that's very valid. Yeah.
It just for our constituents out there. I mean, it
Yeah.
was, I had to go turn my truck on because it's got like a Wi-Fi feature just to be able to access my ability to call out for, I don't know, probably an hour or two in
Yeah.
that period of time. So our ability to communicate with whomever, it was shut down for quite a little bit. So.
You still have a comment?
Yeah, one other thing is, yeah, because I have Comcast down in Rancho. So I automatically went to Wi-Fi calling with my cell phone. So I didn't even know that I had an issue.
Yeah.
Until you let me know we had an issue. With that, to Gary's point, I mean, the people we represent and live next to are our most prized asset. I can't put a price on that, you know, floods, fires, bad digging. It's not a question of if, but when. And then to his point, you know, about what he was talking about, I would say something like, when my house goes down on power because someone ran into a power pole down there. You know, there's a transfer switch. Kicks over automatically to a generator, right? Can we establish something like a transfer switch here when it comes to IT?
I mean, that's what it's doing now, right? So that's what happens when when the fiber goes out, it transfers it immediately over to Verizon. And when Verizon goes out, then it immediately it gets adopted by CHP and then things fall over, right? So there is an automatic process now.
Okay.
Likewise, internally, when the power goes out, it's literally less than a minute before we kick back up into
Right.
Comcast here. So.
Okay, yeah, but the sheriff's office.
So
They're on the same line. So what I was sort of referencing was having a set dedicated circuit for them. And
Gotcha.
reaching out something like that. So,
Very good. Okay, now I totally get 100% what you're saying. Thank you. That's
So
phenomenal.
what came to my mind was, you know, this is inevitable to happen when there's also a public safety shut off and then we don't even have internet capabilities, right?
Yeah.
So we need to look at all tiers of what could go wrong. I mean, there could be a landslide that geographically cuts a line, right? Not a tractor or something that whoever cut it, but combine that with, you know, a brownout or something like that where people don't have their internet. They're really in the dark.
Yeah.
So I made a joke about pigeons. I don't think that's the actual answer, but I do think there are some other things we can do.
The problem even with Comcast is, you know, you could have the lines for Comcast still going, but if they lose power, then they at the house, if you don't have a generator backup, you're out also. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a snowball.
Yep.
Right.
Is there any public comment regarding this informational item?
We have no online public comment.
Super. Any other questions or comments? Okay, thank you very much.
thank you.
Thank you. You coming back with prices?
I was just gonna ask, would the board like me to come back with any
Please.
proposals? Okay.
Yeah, love it. Great options. Options. Option. More than one. Plural.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, yes, paying for it. From the state.
We'll move on to supervisor announcements.
In compliance with Government Code, Section 53232.3D, board members shall provide brief reports on any meetings attended at the expense of the local agency and may make other announcements or report out.
We'll start with Supervisor Andal.
Okay. I'm gonna be a little lengthy today. I've been busy. On October 18th, I had the pleasure of judging ribs at the San Andreas Rotary Cook-Off with Supervisor Tofinelli. On the 19th, I attended a community work day at the Railroad Flat Community Center. On October 24th, I attended the First Five Commission meeting. On October 25th, I want to thank the Public Works Department and Lori Dodge for doing a cleanup at Railroad Flat Ballpark. On October 26th, Mountain Ranch came together with the 4-H and the Youth Alliance and had a chili cook-off and a trunk or treat event. On October 27th, which was yesterday, I attended the Central Sierra Child Support Agency meeting. And I wanted to remind the community that on Halloween, Main Street and McCulmy Hill will be closed and the businesses will all be hosting Halloween events. And I also wanted to remind everybody about the November 1st countywide Firewise Festival at the fairgrounds. So as you see, I am busy out in the communities and my actions are reflective of these wonderful communities that we serve.
Thank you. Supervisor Follendorf?
The only thing I have is that there is an event being hosted on Saturday at the fairgrounds, which is the Firewise Festival from 11 to 3 p.m. So I know there's been a lot of discussions and meetings in different districts over the past year or more, and this is a great opportunity for no matter where you live in the county to come out and see what resources are available to make your home property more fire safe.
And that's going to be in the Mark Twain building.
Correct.
Okay. Supervisor Toffenelli?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, I did not attend the Central Sierra Child Support Agency meeting yesterday. I met with Caltrans in Valley Springs, of their Valley Springs project, and some of the concerns that we had with the fire department, with the light going right in front of that fire station on the highway, and also talked to them a little bit about the parking spaces that was brought up here by Jim, and some concerns with that. I have some more meetings with them concerning both those projects. I thought that was more important at the time to meet with them with some of the things that are going on in the county and the city with Caltrans. They seem to be in hot water on a lot of things, so we're trying to smooth out and get things completed and done with them. And the other thing I want to bring up is it was brought up by members of the public today about M2 zoning, and some of the things that are allowed and not allowed in M2 zoning. And one of the things in M2 zoning, it has, you can do park and recreation facilities and passive recreation and active recreations. And it allows for facilities, but only public or if you're a nonprofit. If it's a private industry, it's not allowed. So I want to know if the board would like to at least have staff bring back to us and maybe relook at M2 and maybe changing that not only from public, but also private. And I don't know if you're interested in doing that or not, but I would bring it up.
I think that's
Yes.
a great idea.
Yes.
As our needs change and as our industries change, this is perfect timing.
Yeah, I concur 100%. We didn't have a crystal ball when we did the general plan and the zoning. And that's as far as I need to go on information on it. I would love to be able to talk to this in depth and maybe fine tune what we have.
Okay. All right.
Yes, I'm open to that.
Supervisor Stopper?
You done?
I'm done. Sure this guy's done.
Oh, no,
Your mic.
no, he's
Mine's on for Susan.
Boom.
Autumn. Lots of good things happening in your district. Going out to community events and everything, that's awesome. While we're looking at zoning, maybe we could look at some parks in District 5 in Rancho, the largest community in Calaveras County, so that, I could have some more events to go to with my constituents.
Thank you, Supervisor.
Everything's going really good down there. I get very few complaints. Most of my complaints come from like your district, Martin, or,
Hey, did you know that I diverted my phone to you? Yeah, you taking my?
This is in the phone, man. I'll leave it at that.
Thank
No,
Well, maybe then you can answer for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
do you want me to do that? I will.
Thank you. I'll handle it. I just want to let everybody know that the county will be observing Veterans Day on the 11th. So our next meeting will be next Tuesday, the 4th, which is different. I wanted to thank the senator and her office for helping with this median. I really wanted to give them a big shout out. Actually, that was the phone call that was coming in at the beginning of this meeting. I attended the Murphy's Gathering, a wonderful event for families in Murphy's, the Lakemont Homeowners Association, the Dignity Health Pink Tide Dinner last Friday. Yeah, it was Friday. At Ironstone. It was amazing to me to see on the dance floor how many of our county employees can cut a mean rug. I was impressed. Halloween, stay safe and sane, and I'll see you all at Firewise as well this weekend. Do we have any other announcements? Any other announcements?
Just report out for Teresa. She attended the case conference last week, 3 days last week. So I'm sure she'd be happy to give a briefing on that.
Thank you. I hope she feels better soon.
Me too.
Super. Well, thank you all. That'll do it.